Okay, Aaron Rodgers is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. In a way, this is an amazing thing about sports coverage in that we can just decide what is and is not a big deal. If we're all being honest, we've known that Aaron Rodgers was going to sign with the Steelers. Along the way, and I include myself in the we because I probably participated in this, we kind of got a little, well, is he going to show up or not? Don't you need to show up? And I want to be clear, I do believe that he needed to show up, right? Like, I do believe that that was appropriately what he should have done. He probably should have gotten there sooner, whatever it is, . But I think that we all could have reasonably looked at the way the Steelers were moving and known that Aaron Rodgers was going to wind up playing for them. We probably could have seen that. What it would have required in all likelihood, if he wasn't going to be there, was a startling level of dishonesty, right? Like there's just no way in the world that the Steelers sat there with their thumbs up, they Mason Rudolph, and was like, yo, we going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mike Tomlin has, a lot of arrogance, but he's not putting his, 2-decade winning streak on the line with Mason Rudolph.
If they thought Mason Rudolph could have played, they wouldn't have taken no phone calls from Aaron Rodgers, right? That's all I'm saying. I put it like this. Ryan Clark has said in public many times that under no circumstance were the Steelers going to take Shedeur Sanders, in part because they just didn't want what they felt like came with Shedeur Sanders. But they took Aaron Rodgers. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they thought Mason Rudolph could do it, there's no way in the world they would have. No, not happening. Now he's going to go there. Now, I want to raise this question because the Steelers got quarterback play last year that looked better on paper than in application. But from Justin Fields, but specifically Russell Wilson. Coincidentally, that is exactly what Aaron Rodgers did last year. Like, you go look at the stats, Aaron Rodgers looked just fine. Statistically, I think it's 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a good number of yards. And if you wanted to put together a highlight tape, hey, man, Aaron Rodgers looked like that dude when he was at his best. Truly 100% looked like that dude. But how good is he going to make them? I don't really have a great answer for that question. The incentives in football are really, really interesting, right? And what I mean by that, I don't think there will be a circumstance under which Mike Tomlin is coaching for his job. Like, something really crazy would have to happen for him to be coaching for his job. However, Mason Rudolph was not going to help him keep his job. We all agree on that, right? Like, that was not going to happen. Mason Rudolph was not going to help him keep his job. What Mason Rudolph would, in all likelihood, help you do is get your next quarterback. Okay. But your next quarterback, which you're presuming that you would get somewhat early in the draft because of what Mason Rudolph helped you do. Your next quarterback is probably not going to help you win truly for at least a couple of years. There are a few prodigies that show up, like, there's the occasional Jaden Daniels. But it's probably going to take you a couple of years before that happens. You really sure they're going to give you a couple of years? Like, it ain't that many number one picks that wind up with, like, first overall. I mean, you get farther down the draft, obviously it's different. But it ain't that many, like, number one overall picks, for example, that get to play for the regime that took them. And if they do, a la Caleb Williams, they get them dudes up out of there pretty quick. That's how it goes. Okay? So I do wonder how much of what they're doing is competing timelines. And by the way, not just competing timelines for the standpoint of what is good for Mike Tomlin and keeping his job. I don't know the Steelers themselves. Like, are they the Miami Heat of the NFL? Where, like, we ain't tanking. Like, that's not what we do. We are going to win. That's where we are. We are going to put a winning team out here if there's any chance to put out a winning team. Is that their get down? It is entirely possible. I'm not sure. But they do seem like they've reached kind of the hamster wheel portion of the program with what they're going to do. And Aaron Rodgers, perhaps is the hamster. I'm not sure. Like, you just keep them running on the wheel. I think that may be where they are. But At the same time, you can show me a world where he dials it up maybe one more time. Maybe one more time. And this is the reason. Well, no, I was going to say the reason I say that is that there are guys like Brett Favre when he went to Minnesota. He did not have a very good year with the Jets. He had a couple slow years with the Packers, though they made the NFC Championship game in 2007. But, it wasn't, you could just count on Brett Favre's season. We weren't quite there. But those guys tend to have a way to dial it back up. The thing that's interesting is that Aaron Rodgers had his couple of down years, and then he dialed it up with the MVP run that he had with the Packers, and then went down again. Is there somewhere where you think that now he can dial this all the way back up after that? I don't know about that. Was he, however, the best quarterback that the Steelers had a chance of getting? Absolutely. I don't know of a world where you can afford to pass up the best quarterback that you can get. I don't think they're in that place. I don't know who is in that place, but I really, really, really don't think it's them, right? But I know this. He is at best the third best quarterback in that division. At best, because that division of the quarterback game is murder. Murder, I tell you, murder. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Let's say Aaron Rodgers can't do it, and he's kind of boo-boo, okay? While he was with the Jets, and it wasn't going that well, there was so much other chaos that Aaron Rodgers almost felt kind of collateral to it, even though you may argue that he was responsible for some measure of it, right? But they fired coaches. There's just a lot that went on over there. And you could divorce Aaron Rodgers from some of it to a degree.
It was still the Jets.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's it right there. They're the Jets. This was normal. This kind of stuff happens with the Jets.
There are all the weird stories about, Woody's grandkids, having impact on.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Stories that only happen with the Jets were happening to the Jets while Aaron Rodgers was also happening to the Jets.
This is what I'm saying. They're just the Jets, right? And since they're just the Jets, okay, the Steelers are not the Jets. So how does this go? If it ain't going great with Aaron Rodgers, how does this go with the opposite of the Jets, the non-Jets? How exactly does this go? This is more fascinating on that level than I think it is football interesting. Okay? And by the way, all of this happening while you just brought in your real live 1990s typo wide receiver who'll be out there with the faith, them earrings, you know what I'm saying? And pink hair and all of that stuff. And he wants the ball. And presumably Aaron Rodgers can get him the ball, one would think. I don't think throwing to DK Metcalf should be that difficult. So presumably he should be able to get him the ball. But if this doesn't go, this could be pretty fun. And there are many who believe that Aaron Rodgers got Robert Saleh fired. And I don't think he made it that easy for Saleh, certainly. But whether he got him fired is somewhat debatable. If Aaron Rodgers somehow managed to get Mike Tomlin fired, that's going to be the end of his career because can't nobody touch him. If you get he can get Mike Tomlin fired, baby. You can get anybody fired out here. Ain't nobody going anywhere near you. You kryptonite. You get Robert Saleh fired. Hey man, we weren't so sure about that guy. You get Mike Tomlin fired. You're a leper. A leper, I tell you, a leper. My nose just fell off just thinking about it.